Hello everyone, in this tutorial we are going to do a simple human character animation example where you can control the animation state with the menu button. So now if I expand this menu, when I click on A, it does grab the first animation and the second animation and the third animation and so on. So it actually picks up the animation from the button. Okay, so let's begin the exercise to see how this is set it up. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to have a human character FBX model. The one I have looks like this. It has a T posture, so the posture of your character should look like that, has a very simple T posture. And once you have that OBJ or FBX, whatever file you have, we are going to use this website called ft.mixamo to rig this character without it's really handy. So in this ft.mixamo website, there are quite interesting characters you can download, and there are also different animations that you can use and download. So I'm going to go ahead and explain how we can use all these animations and characters. But first of all, let's rig our own characters using the ft.mixamo. So here we can say upload character and select the character file, and I'm going to use the FBX file, which is not rigged, and just upload it and just follow the instruction and say next, and follow this instruction to set the chin and wrist and all the joints accordingly. Okay, once everything is set, you can just use the standard skeleton, which is good, and say next. And after waiting for a few seconds, this will read this character animation, character model. Okay, now this person is rigged well. Say next and next, and you have this model with T posture. Of course, now it can take any of this animation, and you can also just download this person with animation. But right now, for now, I'm going to delete the animation from here. Just go back to the T posture and just download this with the T posture as a FBX file. Okay, so download. And main, casual, and rigged. So to differentiate with the original one, okay. All right, so now I have this main, casual, FBX file rigged. So in my Unity scene now, I created a models folder. I'm going to compare these two. So firstly, the original one is main casual. If you just import it and expand it, there is nothing apart from the material and the mesh renderer, mesh geometry. So if I drag it here and reset, it looks like this. And this one, if I drag it in here, main casual rig, if we expand, we see something happened here. and we have man casual something something, and we also see this icon, and that is the animation icon. But this one doesn't, we didn't import any animation though. Okay, so if we bring it in here, we can see that this one is also a T posture looking similar, but actually this one has all the rigs. So, okay, so we are going to use the rigged version. So we can just delete this guy, put this one in the center. I'm just going to bake the light one more time just to make things bright enough. And I'm going to move my camera so I can see my game well, and the directional light to be something like that. Of course, you can turn on the gizmo to see all these icons. Okay, so once this is set, we are going to then animate this guy. All right. So in order to get some animation, let's go back to Mixamo and see if we can just bring some of these animations in. So, okay, so what if I want an idle animation? So idle is a resting posture. So there is a woman resting posture and different kind of idle posture. Okay, so let's use this guy. Yeah, now you have this idle animation hooked up. Say download, and we can download this without the skin. So because you can also have the skin connected, but we only need the animation. So all right, we are going to download it as an FBX and download and we call it idle. Okay, that's great. Let's find some other maybe dancing posture. So let's see if there's anything that is dancing in the space. Okay, so let's download this guy without skin. And this is a hip hop movement. Okay, so hip hop movement. Okay, it also named quite well. All right, and maybe let's find a very different dance, maybe. Salsa. Okay, okay, that looks very different. Download this. Salsa dance without skin. Salsa. Okay, and let's see what other animations that we have. Okay, maybe some. Let's see what this is. Okay, it goes away, so let's not use this one for this specific exercise. Okay, it's a crouch movement or okay, so there are lots of interesting movements. Okay, which one do we use? Okay, that goes away, so let's not use it. Okay, sitting and clapping. Okay, that's fine. Let's download this one. All right, so let's say we have 3 different state of the animation. We are going to use them. So we are going to just import them one by one to our animation. But we want to differentiate this in a folder. So let's right click, say folder animations, and bring this animation files separately from the models file. So you can see that inside this, you don't have the models mesh. You see this icon, that's the most important. Okay, and you have salsa, dancing, and sitting and clapping. Okay, great. So I'm going to get in there. In the model, we want to say enable read and write. And we want to go in there, and the rig is humanoid. And coming in here, we want to change this name to B-Boy Hip Hop. Yeah, apply. Okay, so we want to have this guy to be named properly. So, all right, so we go in here. In the rig, it's a humanoid. Apply. In the animation, we name this to be idol. Okay. Apply. We do that for all of this. So rig is humanoid. The animation to be salsa. And sitting and clamp. Sitting, clap. Apply. Yeah, I feel like we didn't have to rig this. Let me see if that's true. Okay, so we go to models. Definitely what we need to do is we need to rig the person from generic to humanoid and apply. Okay. And we are going to say read and write enable. Okay, so the animation itself, we don't have to worry about it because we are not going to use this animation itself. Okay, so here, okay, so by default, it actually grabbed and created the animator. But it's possible that you don't have that. So if you don't have that, you can right click and say animator and create the animation. And you drag the avatar from here to there. All right. So once you do that, we are going to create. So even if you now play this, it's not going to do anything. What we need to do is we need to create a folder. So we call it animator. Let's say, let's call it animator. It might be slightly confusing, but inside here, we are going to create the controller of animations, but animation itself will be saved here. So right click, create a animation controller, and I'm going to say main animations. Okay, so if you now double click on it, it has this kind of window inside the animator window. Let's come back to this a little bit later. So we go back to our scene and main casual rig, and then we need the controller to be hooked up there. Okay. And now we can control our animation of this guy. So we go back to the animator. And now we can right click, create an empty state, and we can give a animation here. We can pick one of these. So if we didn't change the name before, we will all see mixamo.com. So we are going to choose this idle animation, and I'm going to also change this name to idle. Okay. So now if we play this, now it starts to perform the idle. If I change this animation to salsa, for example, then this will do salsa dance. Okay. It's kind of stopped, I don't know why. Yeah. Oh. Okay, let's see what was the problem. B-boy. Okay, this is stopping. It's not looping. Oh, because I think we didn't allow them to loop. So we go back to animations. Let's try the sit and clap first. So sit and clap. Okay, so the sit and clap didn't work because we didn't add the rig on this one. So do you remember the one, everything we added the rig? So we have to add the rig because I wanted to see if we didn't have to rig. Okay, but you have to also rig the animation file as well. Okay, so now we can also do the sit and clamp. Okay. Okay, that's awesome. Now your animation should, so in the animation, it should allow the loop time. So let's play, say apply, of course. Now I'm going to change this to the B-boy hip hop. Let's see if this can continue. Now it continues, yes. Okay, so before it was stopping at one point, right? So now you have to let the animation to loop all the time. So salsa dancing as well, we have to let it loop and apply. Sitting and clamping, loop and apply. Okay, so let's play. Okay, let's change this to salsa dance to see if it works. Okay, now it's not stopping. Great. Okay, so how do you control, so how do you let this guy to have multiple different animation and that can be controlled from a UI? So let's go back to the idle to be an idle state. And we are going to set the first movement. Let's say a b-boy hip hop. So this one, I'm going to add the b-boy hip hop, b-boy hip hop. This name doesn't really matter, but just for our convenience. Okay. And we are going to say right click, make transition, and it goes and also comes back to idle. So I want to give certain condition to let this change, let this condition to change the hip hop. And the parameter I want to use is Boolean, and we can make a lot of parameters here by going to the parameters tab. and create a Boolean. You can create full float, integer, and trigger, but we are going to use Boolean, and we are going to say BL hip hop, H capital, H capital. This is up to you though. So what I'm going to say is you can click on this arrow, say only if I give a condition, say play, add, say if only Boolean hip hop is true, I will go from idle to hip hop, and there shouldn't have any exit time. If you don't unclick this, what it does is it will wait until the idle finishes and then switch to hip hop. So the waiting time will be long. It doesn't immediately switch to the hip hop dance. So you have to always untick this box. So here as well, untick has exit time, play a plus, and hip hop false. When the hip hop is false, we are going to go back to idle. So when I play now this is idle because this is false. And if I play, click on it, immediately it starts to dance, and you can switch that on and off. Yeah, so that's great. So let's create 3 different states similarly with 3 different parameters. So empty, this one, let's use salsa dance, right click or change here, salsa, use salsa dance, and right click, make transit, click on it plus, and we need a parameter here, Boolean BL salsa, S capital, true, and when the salsa is false, we come back. Make sure this has exit time is ticked off. All right. And let's just go ahead and add all 3. This one should be clap, sitting clap, right click, transit, right click, transit, and unclick. We need a parameter, Boolean clap, Boolean clap true, Boolean clap false, and make sure the X time is off. Okay, so now if I play this now, this, if I click on this, it's going to do hip hop, salsa, and clap. Okay, but this one, you just need to be careful. If you have both of them on, only the first one, or yeah, it's going to trigger some weird ones. It doesn't necessarily trigger everything. Yeah, there's no mean to do everything together. Yeah, so the best way to do it is turn on and off first, and before you go to the next movement. Okay. All right, so that is the state of the controller. And how do you access this information from the UI? So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our scene and right click, create a UI. I'm going to create a Text Mesh Pro button. Okay, and this button, turn on the gizmo, and it appears over there. I'm going to snap to the center, say 0, 0, 300, that's too big, 100, 100. Okay, and move it a little bit up. Change the text to be B, a little bit bigger, and bold. Yeah, and then I'm going to copy Control D to bring it to the left, Control D to bring it to the right. This one, I'm going to call it A button. This one to be B button. This one to be C button. A will have text A. C will have text C. Okay, and we are ready to connect the animation. But this guy now needs a small script. So right click, create a folder, says scripts. And we are going to create a script called toggle animation and double click on it. Okay, we are going to delete everything here and say public void toggle my animation. And here we are going to bring string my animation. So this is the name of the animation. We are going to set a Boolean current state is transform dot get component. The component is the animator. This will grab the controller dot get bool. So we are going to get my animation. So I'm going to get the current state of the Boolean. The Boolean name of the Boolean should correspond to this name. So let's just go ahead and finish these lines and we can try. Say get component, similarly animator dot set Boolean, set my animation, and the opposite of Boolean current state. So whenever I click on toggle my animation, I will flip the state of my current Boolean state. Okay, so once this is ready, we are done with the script. It's just really simple 2 lines. We are going to add the script to the animation, to the rigged geometry. Okay, now we can go back to our scene, go to our canvas, select the button A, play plus the main character, and go to the toggle animation and toggle my animation. And for A, what we want to toggle or enable is Boolean hip hop. So we need to use exactly the same spelling and case. So just copy and paste that name here. We'll do the same thing for B, plus main character, toggle animation spring, copy, Control C, Control V. Okay, so for C, same, bring the casual, main casual, rigged, toggle animation, and Control C, Control V. Yes, so now if we play, this will turn on and off. You see how this Boolean changes when I click on B, the salsa, Boolean salsa is changed. When I Click on C, the clamp is changing. Okay, so that's how you can connect the animation and control the animation using a UI. Thank you very much.